Hello there, this is Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell. And this particular message is about what I call spike pedagogy for mathematics. And quite frankly, I consider that is something that's probably mandatory for success. If you want to have guaranteed success for all of your math students, then I believe that you can achieve it if you can apply what I call spike pedagogy. And in fact, I think there's probably no other real way to do it for all of your students. Now, it turns out that homeschoolers can practice it now, and I believe that private schools can also practice it thanks to something we've just come up with called the Magic Carpet Math 6-tier program that I'm going to tell you a little bit about. But what I really want to do in this message is talk about spike pedagogy. Now, spike is my acronym for the way I've learned to teach math over many decades successfully. And here's what's involved in it, SPIKE. First of all, self-pacing. I believe this is critical for any student. Students learn at different rates. They have different backgrounds. They study at different rates. They miss school for this reason and that. They have to come back and review and so on. So self-pacing is critical. Proper content is equally important. It depends on a student's background. What prerequisite material do they have? What's their interest in math and so on? And so proper content is really critical. Both of these are. Interactivity is quite important because math to me is like a sport. You have to practice it, you have to play it, and so on. And like any sport, you need to keep score in it. This is for psychology. Every time a student learns a new topic, you want to give them praise for that and so forth and so on. You want to keep score for their progress. And I never compare two students either. If you got two students, one will always be faster than the other, higher up the ladder than the other, so on and so forth. And so it's very important that each student get the proper input for their success. And finally, empathy is very important because students, anybody makes mistakes when they do math. When you're learning math or doing math, you make a lot of mistakes. And you don't want to feel bad about your mistakes. Mistakes are a sign that you're learning. And that's good. Now you want to make the same mistakes over and over. Of course you want to correct for that, but you're always going to make new mistakes. Now I explain all of this in quite a bit of depth in a book that I wrote a couple of years ago in chapter 1. And you can go to homeschoolertoday.com/superior and get this book. It's free for you. And each chapter you can watch a video on the chapter or you can read a PDF. And you'll note that chapter 1 is spike pedagogy, because that, in my view, is the basis of the whole thing. You've got to have that. Then you go on into content issues. What kind of content is appropriate for students and so on and so forth. And so this book is something that you can, if you're really interested in math education, this will be an excellent book for you to go through and find out just exactly what it takes to give a really great math education to your students. There's a lot of things in this book, but spike pedagogy is perhaps the most important thing. Now, the question you're going to have, if I were you, is okay, how do you deliver spike pedagogy in a classroom or a group situation? And the truth of the matter is, it's been my experience, you really can't. You have students that have different backgrounds, different abilities, and so on, different pacing. It's almost impossible to do it in a group setting with 2 or more students. I've been teaching math for decades, and whenever I tutor students one-on-one, I've always been successful. I've never had a failure one-on-one. In classrooms, that's a whole other story. Some students are going too slow and they're bored. Other students are going too fast, they just can't keep up. They're on a schedule. It's not the teacher's fault, by the way. I think I was as good a classroom teacher as you can be, but I couldn't possibly be successful with all of my students that had such varied abilities and backgrounds. So that's why the new technologies let us solve this problem in a way that's just really quite unbelievable. Now, if you have struggling students in your school or failing students, then this thing I call the Magic Carpet Math Program is going to be a very wonderful supplement for your math program, because it's going to let you deliver training on math topics to your students with spike pedagogy. And you can go to triadmathinc.com/MCM and get more information on that. And you'll find it to be very, very useful and so forth. And I've talked about it on many other messages to you, I'm sure. Now, if you want to talk about this further, we can have a Zoom meeting with your school's leaders, and we can talk about your school and your situation and how you can improve your math program. And there's lots and lots of things that you can do. And the good news is, because of modern technologies, it's very cost effective today. In fact, you can deliver a better math education program today to your students for a lot less money than you could even a decade ago, just because of modern technologies. In fact, some of these technologies are even more recent than that. It's really quite amazing. So I invite you to contact me. As I've told you, my name is Craig Hain. I have a PhD in theoretical math, as you might imagine. I've taught math at all levels. I love teaching math. I particularly love teaching high school and middle school students math, because this is when you can have the biggest impact on them. Because if you can make a student successful and have confidence in what they're doing, then it's good for their self-esteem and their self-confidence, and it opens up many, many other opportunities for them to learn and to apply math. Because as you know, math has really opened sesame for literally thousands of fields of other fields. Math is like a universal language. And so that's who I am. You can email me at craig@hain.com is my email address. And you can also go to my website, craighain.com, and learn all about me. My VTA's there, my background and all that, and a lot of free materials there too at craig@hain.com. And so I strongly advise you to go to there and learn about the magic carpet math, learn about spike pedagogy, and then let's have a meeting with you and your school leaders, a Zoom meeting, and talk about your situation and what we can do to help you really improve your situation and just make it ideal for your students. So this is Craig Hain, or Dr. Dell to my students, and I will hopefully be communicating with you soon and moving on down the road to help you improve the math education for all of your students. So thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.